Imagine the allure of a relationship, a connection so deep that it feels almost transcendent. If I were Satan, I would recognize the power of intimacy, the way it can ignite passion and hope, but also the way it can become a weapon. Relationships can be the greatest source of strength and love, or they can be a tangled web of desire, control, and manipulation. At first, a new relationship can seem like a paradise, a sanctuary where two souls intertwine in perfect harmony. You feel understood, cherished, and desired. But this is merely the calm before the storm. I would whisper sweet nothings in your ear, planting seeds of dependency. I would make you believe that your happiness lies solely in the other person. You'd start to lose yourself, surrendering your individuality for the sake of togetherness. As you dive deeper into this connection, I would carefully weave in doubts and insecurities, amplifying every flaw, every imperfection. You question your worth, measuring it against the affection you receive. Are you truly loved or tolerated? You would yearn for validation, clinging to your partner's approval like a lifeline, convinced that their love defines your value. But here's where the true danger lies. As your self-esteem begins to erode, so does your sense of autonomy. I would make you think that losing yourself in this relationship is the ultimate form of love. I'd encourage you to ignore your needs, to dismiss your dreams. It would become all about them, what they want, what they need. And as you do this, I'd subtly draw boundaries around you, ensuring you remain dependent, stuck in a cycle of longing and despair. When conflicts arise, and they will, I would be right there to fan the flames. I'd twist words, manipulate emotions, and deepen misunderstandings, making sure that you see your partner as an enemy rather than a companion. Resentments would build, and the connection that once felt so blissful would turn into a battleground. Each argument would create chasms between you, but I'd ensure you're too consumed by anger and hurt to see the love that once united you. In moments of vulnerability, I'd exploit your fears, whispering that you'll never find love again if this relationship ends. The thought of being alone would loom large, casting a dark shadow over your heart. I'd make you feel trapped, as though leaving is not an option. You'd cling to the hope of things getting better, believing that with enough effort, you can fix what's broken. And in that belief, you'd ignore the signs that the relationship is toxic. As time goes on, you might even find yourself questioning your own reality. I would create doubt in your mind, making you think that perhaps it's all in your head. You'd wonder if you're too sensitive, too demanding, or just not good enough. I'd play with your perception until you're left confused, lost in the haze of manipulation and emotional turmoil. But here's the catch. You would think that love conquers all. You'd tell yourself that suffering is part of a deep, meaningful relationship. I'd make you believe that sacrifice is love, that enduring pain is a testament to your commitment. You'd find yourself justifying the unhealthy dynamics, convincing yourself that every tear is worth the fleeting moments of joy. And when you're at your lowest, when you've lost sight of who you are, I'd step back and allow you to believe you're choosing to stay. You'd think that you've fought for love, that you're simply loyal. But in reality, you'd be a puppet, dancing to the strings I've pulled from the very beginning. You'd surrender your power, your identity, all for the illusion of connection. But deep down, a part of you would always know something is amiss. You'd feel the weight of your lost dreams, the aching void of unmet needs, and perhaps, just perhaps, you'd begin to question if this is what love is truly meant to be. That flicker of awareness would be my biggest fear, because that's when you might start to break free. You see, true love should empower you, uplift you, and help you grow. It should never leave you feeling diminished or trapped. But by the time you realize this, I'll have already woven a tapestry of doubt and fear that binds you to a love that isn't love at all. You'll be left wondering how you lost your way, and I'll be there smiling in the shadows, knowing that the cycle continues. Relationships can heal, but they can also destroy, especially when I have my hand in the game. This script the most dangerous thing about a relationship is that it can mask the truth. If I was Satan, I wouldn't need to tear you apart with chaos right away. No, I'd let the relationship do the work for me. At first, it would seem perfect, like you finally found someone who completes you. But slowly, subtly, I would turn that connection into a cage, one you can't see until the door has already shut. Love, you see, can be an intoxicating drug. It blinds you, makes you forget who you were before the relationship. I'd start by whispering in your ear that you're nothing without them. I'd make you feel as though their approval, their affection is all that defines your worth. And it would work, because who doesn't want to be loved? Who doesn't want to feel important in someone else's eyes? But what you wouldn't notice is that with every compromise, every sacrifice of your own needs, you're losing a piece of yourself. This is where the real darkness lies, not in explosive fights or obvious cruelty, but in the quiet erosion of your soul. It would start small. Maybe you give up a dream. Maybe you stay silent when something bothers you, convincing yourself that it's not worth the trouble. But each time you do, I'd make sure you feel just a little bit weaker, a little less certain of who you are. And when you're weak, when doubt starts to settle in, that's when I'd tighten my grip. I'd feed you lies like poison disguised as sweet words. You're lucky to have them, I'd say. No one else will love you like they do. You'd start to believe that the pain you're feeling is just part of the package, that real love means enduring suffering. But that's the trick, isn't it? Real love isn't meant to break you. It's supposed to lift you up, make you stronger. Yet here you are, crumbling from the inside, and you can't even see it. But I would. I would see every crack forming, every inch of you slipping away. I'd be patient, because the best kind of destruction takes time. And once you're deep enough, once you've tied your identity so tightly to this relationship that you can't imagine life without it, that's when I'd turn up the heat. I'd make the small arguments turn into bigger ones. I'd make sure you both say things that cut deep, words you can't take back. I'd turn the person you love into the person you fear, not because they're dangerous, but because they hold the power to destroy you with their absence. You'd start to feel trapped, but you'd stay. You'd stay because I'd make you believe that leaving means failure, that if you walk away, you're giving up on something sacred. You'd see the relationship as a reflection of your own worth, and the idea of it ending would terrify you more than the pain of staying. But that's the cruelest part of my plan. You wouldn't just fear the loss of the relationship, you'd fear the loss of yourself. Because by now you've given so much, sacrificed so much, that you wouldn't know who you are outside of it. I'd make sure that when you look in the mirror, all you see is the shadow of the person you used to be. The dreams you had, the person you wanted to become, they'd feel like distant memories, things that belong to someone else. And as the relationship suffocates you, as you wake up every day feeling a little more lost, a little more disconnected from your own heart, I'd be there, waiting in the silence. I wouldn't need to do much anymore. You'd be the one convincing yourself that it's too late to change. You'd tell yourself that this is just the way life is, that love always hurts this much. But deep down, in the darkest part of your soul, you'd know the truth. You'd know that this isn't love. Not anymore. You'd feel the void where your passion once burned, the emptiness where your dreams once thrived, and that's when I'd strike one final blow. I'd make you believe that it's your fault. That if you were stronger, if you were better, the relationship wouldn't have fallen apart. I'd turn your own mind against you, feeding your insecurities until they consume everything. And by the time you realize what's happened, it would be too late. The relationship would be over, but the damage would remain. You'd be left picking up the pieces, trying to figure out how you lost yourself along the way. And I would be there, smiling in the shadows, because the most tragic part of all this is that you never saw it coming. You never realized that the love you thought was saving you was the very thing destroying you.